was like, holy cow, Bambi.
How about,
Did he leave his skate guards on?
You got to be kidding me. Like two other three guys that played in the
I know you got more money than
yeah, I was gonna say.
like. Is it a hockey? So we were playing here. Welcome back, everybody. Episode 11, Crash Course Hockey. I'm Corey Heon, along with Alex Sherman, head coach of the NA3, who is now, unfortunately, out of the playoffs.
Yeah, thanks for that. We had a rough one this week, last week, I guess. Not what we were shooting for. You know, Louisiana came in. They had 2 months of battling to get into the playoffs, and they came in and took care of business in our house.
Yeah, towards the end of the season, there was, I'm not gonna some adversity that was. I'm not going to say plague the Rhinos, but some injuries going right after the deadline, so bringing the roster down. And then after game one, we lost three more guys, so we're already short staffed. So, but it is what it is. There's not excuses. It's part of the game, and the fact of the matter is we got beat 2 games.
Yeah,
Yeah,
excuses are bricks that built the house of failure. So
there you go.
We're not making those. But we didn't bring it. We didn't come back. We didn't battle. We dealt with some adversity all year with a couple different things, and it got the best of us. And it is what it is. But
game one itself, we didn't show up.
No, not at all.
It's a 60-minute game, and if we showed up for 7 minutes, I'd be surprised.
If that, yeah.
It was just, I don't know if it was nerves or
they were nerves for sure. You could tell in the locker room that they were focused, when they were stretching, and then once they started putting gear on, you could kind of see the change of attitude.
Yeah, it was definitely a different product than what we're normally used to. And then we come back to game 2, much better effort, much better game by the Rhinos. I think we just ran out of time.
Yeah.
There was some nice plays there. The guys, the energies were going, the bodies were banging. There was pucks on net. There was a lot of good things.
For sure.
But we just fell short, unfortunately. And hats off to Louisiana. They battled the last, like you said, 2 months.
Yeah.
And they got into the playoffs, and they were just on a constant roll, and it carried over into the playoffs. And
now I think they might have a shot at taking New Mexico down. You heard it here first, but
New Mexico, they kind of struggled in game 1 too.
Yeah.
I think
that was a physical. That was a physical game. They were banging by.
That went in overtime, no?
Yeah. Or no.
It was close. It was 3-2 or 2-1, whatever it was. But they were losing going into the third, I believe.
Yeah.
So that was a battle, but they managed to pull it off. And playoffs, anything can happen, as we witnessed in round 1. And it's unfortunate that we came up short, but it is what it is. Now we're in the off season. What are the plans for the off season?
Recruit. I've already been making phone calls, trying to get, in contact with players that we like, that our NA scouting staff has, kind of tabbed as, someone that they're interested in, but might need a year of NA3. And, we're going to hit combines and showcases and all that fun stuff. But, this pretty much, we finished on Friday. Saturday morning, I woke up and started vetting my contact list and started going through it. So next year's season's, here we are.
And then, for those listeners out there, that the off season is just as busy as the regular season.
I would say it's
busier.
busier.
In season.
I would say it's busier.
Yeah, it's a different busy, and it's in my honest opinion, from my standpoint and what I do, it's more stressful.
Oh yeah, for sure, 100%.
Just for what everything entails with the camps coming in and guys coming back and new guys coming in. It's a process for sure.
It's you want to try and rebuild, a better team, but you want to keep the culture, you want to keep the standard, you want to keep the work ethic, but trying to find those guys and see where they fit with the current team and who's coming back is, it's a big puzzle that you're trying to put together, for however many months.
Yeah, no, it's certainly thing. And at the tier 3 level, kids are wanting to play at a higher level, and there's no fault in that. It is what it is. So, to have, our players look for bigger and better things. Of course, we as a Rhino, our organization, promote that. We want that. We try to help kids get there. But at the end of the day, some guys aren't able to make that jump, and that's not a bad thing, because our level, tier 3, is a great level.
Yeah, absolutely.
And there's a couple of the guys we can talk about it got onto some colleges in the last, since we bowed out of the playoffs. Bolger being one, and I think May as well, right?
Yeah, I don't know if it's official yet, but it's definitely in the works. And then there's quite a few other guys that are getting really close to, committing to other schools. So we should have, 5 or 6 guys probably.
Well, that's awesome.
Which is a big step from last year. I think there was only a couple, 1, 2,
maybe 2,
3, maybe. It was a couple for sure. So it's a step in the right direction. Obviously making playoffs is a step in the right direction. Outcome wasn't, what we hoped, but
and it is like, there's how many teams in our division? There's 8 teams in the South Division. 4 teams go. So, that's a great season, especially when we finished second during the regular season. And we got to have 2 games here in front of our fans. Thursday was good. Friday noon game a little tight just because of the scheduling and how it played out.
Yeah.
With the NA3, there's no break. So as soon as the regular season's over, you jump right into first round, then the next weekend, second round, and then the weekend after is the Fraser Cup. So it's boom, boom, boom. And it's really, really quick. So you just, in our case, we have 2 teams. So it's just a matter of trying to facilitate that many games.
Yeah. I mean, that could have been 5 games in a weekend if we would have won one of them,
right.
And played the Saturday game. And, it's a lot to try and push in. And then, this weekend is Louisiana, New Mexico, and next weekend's Fraser. Yep. And then it's also the Combine and top prospects. So everything's kind of
it's crazy how it goes in, and it just and then at the end of whatever the 3rd week of March, it's all over.
Yeah,
for the NA3, and then the North American League, they finish up first week of April, then they jump in the playoffs right after. But it was a great season.
Yeah.
Hats off to the guys and coaching staff. You guys making the playoffs is always a good thing. Especially when we haven't been there in a year or so. But it was good that aspect.
I mean, yeah. If you told me in September when I took over as a head coach that we were going to be in the playoffs, I would have told you were crazy. And we came in and the guys really stepped up and bought into the system, bought into the organization, and hats off to them for buying in and doing the best they could with what we got. And I couldn't be more proud. Yeah. I couldn't be more proud of those guys.
And it is the traditional thing here. Like, obviously, the standard is playoffs.
Yeah, absolutely.
And winning. Not making the playoffs is unacceptable.
Yep.
In many aspects of it, you as a player know that. We spoke about it last week on the podcast when Joe was on, and when you guys both clinched, that was awesome. But that's the expectation.
Yeah.
When you take a season off per se and you don't make it, everything kind of suffers.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
It just everything feeds into it and feeds off of it, and making it was a good thing for sure. And then NA clinching too. Yeah, that's awesome as well.
That definitely gets some buzz around the organization. That'll get on the recruiting side, that should help quite a bit. With a successful to playoffs at least for both teams, it'll be easier to talk kids into coming to camp and being around, signing contracts, tenders, whatnot. So.
Yeah. For sure. So, it was good. And I know there's a couple guys skating this morning with the NA team, but for the most part, all the guys have checked out and they're leaving town this week.
Yep. They're all, I think pretty much everyone except for the guys that are skating are going to be out of here by Friday. But most of them left yesterday and a lot of them are leaving in today. So it was tough yesterday walking into that locker room and it being empty. It didn't really hit me necessarily until I saw that. We did exit interviews yesterday, and after I finished up, the last one, I walked out and it was empty, and it was kind of an eye opener.
Yeah, and it's as a player, I'll speak for myself playing. Once you lose and you're out of the playoffs, in my honest opinion, sticking around and for numerous days is not a good thing. I was always the type of player, I'm going to spend a couple of days, say goodbye to the guys, say goodbye to people in the community, build families, etc.
Yeah.
Have some fun, and then get out of Dodge. Yeah. Like it's over with.
Rip off the Band-Aid and
we're done.
Get ready
for the sulking needs to stop and move on. And I think that's the healthiest thing you can do as a player. And as a coach, I would assume that you would want the same thing. Like, take a day or so, guys, and then I'll beat it. Like we're done.
And that's what we did. We took, Saturday, Sunday off. I mean, I was here for the NA game on Saturday.
Yeah.
I was working the phones already, and then we skated yesterday for an hour just to end on a good note, so there was no sour taste in anybody's mouth, and did exit interviews, and now it's, everyone on their way. Let's get, let's start preparing for next year.
And it's sad for the 20-year-olds, I remember my last game as a junior player. And I was not ever a player to get emotional when you lose out or it's the end of a chapter. And, I was never that guy crying or never, that's just not me.
That's what you like everyone to think, at least.
Well, that's true. It's very true. I remember when I was playing college hockey, I think we were ranked number 1 in the country all year, 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Right. We won our conference, and we went to nationals, and it was a weird concept. It was 3 teams made it. You played round robin, and the top 2 played off in the final. We won like 7-2 and 7-1. So of course, then we go into the championship.
Coach's worst case scenario,
right? And we lost something like 3-2.
Yeah.
And got guys on the ice like we're in college, fellas.
Yeah.
And they're sulking and crying. I'm like, I was assistant captain. Guys are crying, and I'm like, come on, guys. Like, I get it, but really? That's just me. Again, you can fault me for it.
I got a little emotional in the locker room after Friday,
I get angry.
It was, I guess, I was just disappointed that we didn't achieve what the goal was at the beginning of the year. But, it was more of a I'm proud of you guys emotion than.
Yeah. And again, I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with it. It's just not me.
Yeah.
And
then the next day I was really angry, and
my wife
was like, just be by yourself because you're not being nice.
How many times have you hit this thing? I've hit it about
2 or
6.
3, yeah.
Setup is horrible, fellas. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, and we didn't get the clapper either, or whatever that thing's
called. No. We were just budget cuts, I guess.
Money.
We had to sell some product here, and I don't know, man. I don't know. Some props that were given to us. Apparently, we sold them on eBay. Somebody
we'll figure it out.
Yeah,
whatever
it is. Whatever.
I mean, it's episode 11. You think we'd have it done?
Yeah,
dialed in by now.
Episode 11. Yeah, guys, let's try this. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's kind of like the power play.
It is kind of like the power play.
Holy
cow.
Yeah.
I know what I'm going to be doing all summer.
Just get the puck to the top and put it on net.
Just shoot.
It's that easy. Shoot the puck.
Shoot. Ask any of those guys in that locker room, and they'll tell you that's all I would say.
But the NA team has the same problem.
Yeah, I don't know.
And
we, it's different setups. It's different breakout. Like
I get the breakups. Things. Like the breakout stuff. Yeah, okay. There's obviously different scenario plays that you work to get in the zone, but it should be an umbrella. Get it to the high guy and shoot the puck.
Yeah, it's pretty simple.
I remember when Herm was coaching.
Get people running, and
when Herm was coaching.
Yeah,
he probably did it with you guys.
Well, I don't know. I just stood in front of the net.
He put products like props out in front of the ice, right?
Oh, yeah.
And it would get it up top. If it hit something and it didn't get through, guys were skating.
Oh.
Didn't matter how hard it was.
That didn't happen. I don't think that happened when I was here, but I like that idea. So
he put cones and chairs and all sorts of crap, and puck would get up high to the D, and they'd have to feed it through.
Yeah.
And if it didn't get through, it hit something, guys were skating.
Yeah. The amount of times this year that I said, miss the first set of shin pads has to be it.
Especially when guys aren't blocking shots.
Yeah. No, it's just literally hitting them. You're shooting it directly into their shins. Yeah. So
anyway, power play. We can work on that, Reg. We'll work on that for off season. But again, back to the end of the season and guys, and it is it's an end of a chapter for 20-year-olds and moving on to bigger and better things, hopefully. And for those guys that are packing it in for good, a little tougher.
Yeah.
Which I get.
Yeah, for sure. It's I lucked out and had an opportunity to go play college, and obviously my body didn't hold up for as long as I would have liked to play college, but I had the opportunity, and to finish on that and be done playing has got to be it's got to be tough.
It's tough, but it's.
I mean, I guess I ended on a loss in my junior career. We won the Thorn Cup, but went to nationals and ended on a loss. So
yeah,
but you forget about that. That's
I don't even think I got to play my. This is not going to make sense, but play my last game because I was.
You were too good.
No,
they
no,
wouldn't let you.
No, 75 goals in Pup A. Just saying.
That's what I thought.
They chirp me about that saying it every podcast, but hey, how many goals you get in Pup A?
0.
See? But for Pup A guys, when I make the comment about Pup A, it's a very low level. It's not like I'm talking that I'm good. But I was pretty good.
That's what you're saying. That is
No,
what
but-
you're saying.
My last game as a buzzard, I was on the IR. So I didn't even get to, I don't remember my last game because I got a concussion. And then,
Applesauce for brains.
right. And then I couldn't get cleared again.
Yeah. I know. I had a month and a half my last year here that I couldn't get cleared. 100% on the concussion test. Couldn't get it.
And I tried to get traded. And he's like, you signed a no trade clause. I'm like, that was stupid of me. But it was for the best. I probably should have retired 3 or 4 before, but none the wiser. Yeah.
Definitely none the wiser now.
For sure. Moving on to the NA. I know Joe's not here, everybody. Obviously, you're probably missing him. But he's sick, under the weather. He's got pink eye.
Yeah.
So he texted me this morning. He's like,
Sleepy Joe.
Sleepy Joe, should I come in? I'm like, no. Not if you have pink eye, dude, because I really don't feel like getting it. That stuff's contagious.
Yeah. I don't want it. I don't want my kids to have it because it'll just spin around my house for the next 3 or 4 months.
He's sitting at home right now in his boxers, double fisting Doritos.
Yeah. Oh, big time.
That's exactly what he's doing. I talked to him earlier. He's like, what are you doing? I was on the second bag of Doritos.
What flavor do you think? Just
I'm going to go with
original?
nacho. First one was nacho and second one was ranch.
That sounds about right. At least,
No?
it could be worse.
That's the good thing about a guy not being here. You can give it to him.
Yeah.
And he Joe's no, but he's not feeling very well. So stay home, Joe, and get better, buddy. Not worth it.
Yeah. Don't, yeah. Oh,
50-50, what'd you say?
speaking of 50,
Oh, God. Here we go.
how's it feel?
What are you talking about? I don't even remember.
Of course. Too many concussions.
Yeah, I turned.
Or is it old age? I
I
don't
turned
know.
the big 5-0 this past weekend, and in all my years that, I worked in Wattis for a lot of years, and the staff over there would my people would over there they'd give me do the birthday thing, right?
Yeah.
We did it. It was common over there, and which was cool, but I'm not a guy to celebrate it.
Yeah.
I in all the years that I've been here, and I told Tyler before, I'm like, listen, I don't want to be on social media with my birthday or anything. And lo and behold, here we are doing a podcast. But I'm not really into that. So they would never announce my birthday or anything like that. And then freaking Saturday night or Friday. When it was a Friday was my birthday.
Yeah.
And it was a charade. It was just one thing after another. I'm like, holy moly. It was awesome. Don't get me wrong.
Hey, if everyone can just, shoot a message to Hio on Instagram wishing him a happy birthday, I'm sure he would appreciate all the notifications.
Yeah. I'm still trying to learn how to freaking do it. But yeah.
Yeah, 'cause you're
give
50.
me a shout out. That'd be great. But so, Ryan and Steven and, everybody involved with it, they put some stuff up on the screen, and it was really, really cool. They did some videos with some of the girls that I used to coach, and then my daughters. So we talk about getting emotional.
Yeah.
So the only person that gets me emotional, and this is being very honest, is my daughter.
That's fair.
And, if you know my daughter, she's an amazing kid. And I'm not saying that because it's my daughter, but she is an awesome person. She's a very kind-hearted person, and she's also a smart ass. She gets that from her mom.
Yeah. Oh.
Maybe me.
Either
But
or.
she had a nice thing the guys put together, and I had no clue that any of this was coming. And here I am sitting on there on screen, and I started to get choked up a little. I'm getting a little choked up now, but it's
Big tough guy over
it
here.
was nice, and then the guys sung me happy birthday after the game, which I'm like, holy cow, like really, like I'm. And again, I'm not one of these guys, but it was super nice.
Yeah. Don't get any ideas because I'm not a big birthday guy either. That's for
Well,
sure.
you know what though, I don't get mad.
Yeah.
I don't get mad, and I certainly get even.
I'm sure.
There's no question.
I had
about
nothing
that.
to do with it. I wasn't here.
If somebody decides to throw you on the bus, well, I'm going to take it and run with it. But no, it was super, super, super nice. And then some of the adult guys, some of my good buddies, there was like 6 or 7 of them. And, we're not even wearing the shirts. We'll wait till Joe gets back. They made.
Oh, I got one.
Yeah,
one.
you got one. We're supposed to wear them today. Totally
No
forgot.
one told me.
Yeah,
I just got a
producers, budget cuts.
Yeah, of
Apparently they can't text or email or even phone.
I mean, I'm here all the time. So
Yeah,
yes,
it's like
I'm
my
just
office
down
is
the-
right there.
Yeah, I'm down the way.
Yeah, I know it's tough, tough. You know,
I mean, those stairs are a lot for me. So, like, you know, to get them to go down the stairs and have to come back up, I get it.
100%. Well, one guy's a Ranger fan, so that says it all, and the other guy's a Chiefs fan, so
Yeah.
it's par for the course. But where were we? I'm 50. I forgot where we were.
I must be 52 because I have no idea.
No, but it was super cool. And anyway, the guys from my buddies in the adult league and guys that I played with for fun, and they made these shirts. You got one. We'll wear them the next podcast, and they did some stuff to my truck. They rode on my truck as you could possibly imagine. I can only
imagine.
Which was funny in itself. And people are like, oh, do you get mad? I'm like, no, because I would do the same thing.
Yeah.
How do you get mad at something, sure. You know? But it was priceless. It was funny. But you know, thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah. You know, that's what I'm here for.
Yeah. But anyway, 50. Two guys with multiple concussions trying to remember things.
That's what's happening.
It's like, what were you saying?
Huh?
Well, he's going to put that on the thumb thing. I know exactly what he's doing. Yeah. Mr. Ranger fan over there. Anyway, so any three's over. Bittersweet, I guess. You know, bitter because it's over. Sweet because we're going to turn the page and move on to next year. And then Joe, the NA clinch-in, and they had a great weekend this past weekend. They won 2, which is usually we split.
Yeah.
But, you know, they tried a couple different things as far as preparation.
For sure.
Call it what it is. It worked. And, you know, it was 3-0 on Friday and then 4-1 on Saturday with a crappy. And I'm not blaming anybody. It was just one of those things. Open net, rebound, blah, blah, blah. Goes in to break a shutout. But he got Star of the Week.
Yeah, I saw that.
Lavula. That's awesome. So shout out to Lavula getting Star of the Week for the South Division. So that's awesome.
It's great.
You know, 2 years ago, we didn't even get a sniff. Last year, we started to get a sniff, and here we are this year. There's been multiple, which is great. We could still use a little bit more love from the league, but different. But it was great. Two wins. Now, this weekend, they take off Thursday, and you're going on the trip.
Yep.
Up to Dallas to play Lone Star Brahmas.
Yep. That's going to be a battle.
That'll be a battle. Last time they were here, we split, won on Friday and lost Saturday.
Yeah.
So we can put 60 minutes and 60 minutes together. That'd be wonderful.
Yeah, it would be huge. You know, they're a physical team. They're well coached. You know, obviously with Dan over there. So you know, I think the guys are. Today was a good practice. You know, could have been a little bit better, but you know, we were out there and we were working on stuff and you know, getting prepared for the weekend. I feel good going into Lone Star and you know, going on the road with the NA team is huge and learn some stuff and you know
maybe teach Joe to some preparation.
I can try.
You know what I mean? Like you know, he was talking how good your preparation was.
He's set in his ways. So
dude, he's double fisting Doritos.
Yeah. So I'll draw you know some stuff and print it out for him. We'll see.
Right. But yeah, no, he was barking at you for being prepared.
Yeah.
You know, and trying to teach me, and it worked.
It worked.
You know,
But then I go out the next day and I'm just as prepared as you were. And I dropped the ball.
Yeah, you know, like
maybe it's because you have the age and the experience.
Yeah,
that maybe that's what
I knew that was coming. Absolutely, could be the experience. But hey, I'm batting 1,000.
Yeah,
you know. If
Must
you guys
be nice.
You want a guru, just call me. Yeah. I'll help you out. But yeah, so that'll be a good test up there. You know, I know the environment in Brahmaland is not quite like it is here. They draw fairly well for the NA. It's a nice facility. Frank does a great job with that organization. And he'll do everything to get it packed and make it fun. So, yeah. Like these guys back here, these producers are putting stuff on the screen. Of course, it has to be big, bold letters so we can see it.
No, my eyes are fine.
Yeah,
not quite
mine
there yet.
So they said your hair's like... Your hair's not growing quite as fast.
I shaved it again. We had team pictures. I couldn't have.
Oh, okay. So
I couldn't have heel hair for that.
I'm starting to get a tennis ball look, but
yeah, I couldn't do
that. I don't really care. I don't know how funny that was, but somebody's dying over there.
I thought that was pretty funny.
Tennis ball look?
Yeah. It's perfect. It's perfect analogy.
But it is though. Yeah, it is look. I kind of look like a tennis ball.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I can't help the way I look. I lost a bet.
It is what it is.
You know, but it'll grow back. You know what I mean?
I think I just got another concussion from this thing.
And just like I think they did this on purpose.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like how many times they can hit it. And
Yeah. There's going to be a counter on the bottom corner. I'm
yeah,
going to
for
point
sure it
right
is.
there.
They're
and
sitting there. Yeah.
How many times?
Yeah. That's
Probably.
great though. But Bromland, 2 up there. It'd be nice to get 2. Because they're boiling down. I think they got 2, 4, 6, 9 games left. 10 games
Yeah.
left.
Our NA team has 10. I think the Brahmas they might only have 6 games left.
Could be. I know we got two games in hand on a couple.
Yeah.
So I want to say we're 7 points out of second with 2 games in hand on Shreveport. And then we finished the season on the road in Shreveport, which they do a good job up there filling the stands, and the environment is a little bit better than most. And it's always tough to play, especially the last game of the season when it means something.
Sure. Yeah. It's not going to be an easy go going into that barn. And,
the crappy thing is that if we're too far out to get second and we're far enough ahead, we're not going to drop to 4th. That trip sucks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So for those listeners, let me explain it a little bit better. So if you can't get second, but even if we lose both and we don't drop to 4th and we maintain 3rd, that road trip is going to be brutal.
Yeah. It's going to be terrible.
It's the longest one of the season.
Yeah. Of course you end on it.
And you're just going there last game of the season. You don't want guys to get hurt. Both sides, which is good.
It was kind of like with Mid-Cities. It was the end of the season. We went and, obviously we needed to win a game.
Correct, yeah.
So there was something there, but then after we clinched, it was...
Then it turned to somewhat of a gong show.
Which happens, I get it.
But, on that side of things, it's not going to happen in Shreveport because both teams are playing in the playoffs.
Yeah.
But the meaning behind it, hopefully the guys... I know Joel will do everything he can to prepare these. We're a ways away, so I don't even know we're talking about that. But prepares them to
you don't want to create any bad habits that last weekend.
And it sucks. So Bromland, then Amarillo. Then we play Tuesday the 19th, I believe, here against New Mexico. And then
Grit for 3.
Grit for 3. And then it's I think I got the dates wrong, but so it's Lone Star,
Amarillo, Tuesday night, New Mexico game, 3 against the Grit to finish the month, and then
so it's every weekend there's something going on. It's kind of nice that there's no hockey here. I'm not going to lie to you because I get an actual
for you
weekend off, which is great. I got a lot of stuff to do, and my life is kind of going to be upside down in the next 4 to 5 weeks with my daughter making nationals. So shout out to Girls Culver.
Where are they? Where's
Florida?
Nationals?
Florida. Yeah, which is great. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Like I don't mind going to. I've never been to Florida, but we get to go to Florida, and then
You've never been to Florida?
No. Well, what do you want me to say?
Just nothing.
I've never been to Florida.
Well, where in Florida are you going?
We're flying into Tampa, and then it's Wesley Chapel. I don't know. It's kind of right in the middle between Tampa and Miami. We're about 45 minutes from the ocean.
Okay.
I don't really want to swim with sharks anyway.
Well, you got alligators.
Where?
Right there.
Like where? But
well, I don't know where in Florida you are, but the Everglades
told
are there.
you where I am.
Yeah. Well, I'm not sure what. Orlando, I know. Fort Myers, I know. Jacksonville,
so it's
Daytona,
close to
Panama.
It's close to Fort Myers.
Oh, okay.
Is there alligators?
Yeah.
Right on. I go feed the alligators. See, I could wrestle an alligator. I think.
Yeah, I'm sure you could.
I wouldn't. I wouldn't necessarily want to fight a shark.
You got alligator arms, so it might be a fair fight.
I wouldn't want to fight a shark, but I think I could take an alligator.
Well, I guess we'll have to find out.
I think I could take one. We'll try it, maybe.
You guys are gonna have to go with him. You'll bring the camera, and we'll film. We'll film off site.
No, if Steve Irvin, who was that guy?
Steve Irwin. Yeah.
Didn't he get? Was it an alligator?
No, it was a stingray.
Snake.
Stingray.
Yeah. Wow, that sucks.
Can you wrestle one of those?
No, not now. Not now. But anyway, so Florida, they go to nationals, and then so as soon as they lose out, whatever day that is, we jump on a plane and go to Spain for her World Championships with the Mexican national team.
Oh, so now you're going on vacation. I came off vacation.
Yeah. Yours was twice as long as mine.
I don't know about twice. Maybe.
Yeah. I'm only going for 2 weeks.
Well, just because I was on vacation 3 days a week for about
right
5 weeks.
So 15 days.
Yeah.
Okay, it's about the same.
Yeah.
But I told the assistant coach yesterday in the national team. It's kind of funny. We're talking about the men's side of it, and I said, you know what? I said the best thing about me going to this is I get to be a hockey parent, and I get to bitch to the parent or bitch to the coach about how much. Get the bitch to the coach about how little ice on my kids get.
Yeah.
I'm going to be that guy.
I believe it. Sitting
Yeah,
up there.
I'm going to sit up there and.
Are you going to be like guiding the, Cameron around the ice on or what to do?
I'm thinking
like,
about it.
You know,
I'm thinking
standing by the glass and making faces.
I was like,
yeah.
terrible.
And then yelling
terrible.
at the coach. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to be that guy.
Okay.
Maybe I'll make YouTube or something. What do they put
50,
that stuff?
right? I mean,
Listen to this guy. Anyway, it'll be fun. So it'll be a fun couple weeks. Looking really forward to it, to kind of taking a breather from here. And unfortunate thing is, if the NA does clinch, or pardon me, if they do not get first or second, and we do clinch third, that means I'm going to miss the first round of playoffs due to the buy-in, which sucks because that'll be the first time that they made it, and unfortunately, I won't be here for it. Let the producer go on vacation. Let the viewers decide how long I get to go on paid vacation. You guys answer that, we're canceling the show. But yeah, so that'll be fun.
yeah. That sounds awesome.
That'll be good.
But, obviously, somebody's going to have to pick up the pieces if you're not here for,
Yeah, there's probably nobody in the building that's qualified.
No, there's not a chance.
We'll cut that part out, but it's funny though. No.
I was like, wow.
But yeah, no, be gone for a couple weeks, and it'll be just practices and one set of games. So it's not a big deal.
I see where your priorities are.
Yeah. I do feel bad, believe me.
Sure.
But I'd feel worse if I didn't go see my kid play in Worlds.
Hey, I totally understand.
Because she would not let me live it down.
Oh, no, she wouldn't.
She's okay with me not seeing any of her games at Culver during the season. She's really okay with that. It's harder for me because, as a parent, you want to see your kid, moms and dads or whatever you're listening, you want to watch your kid play. But we've come to the agreement or understanding that it's really, really hard for what I do to get out. But we do make it a point that I do go to the Worlds. And now this being that the Nationals for USA Hockey kind of fit in that mix, I'm going to get to see both, which is really, really cool.
Yeah, I'm kind of jealous.
You should be.
I'm going to be all over the country this year, hopefully. So
yeah, you will be. We're going to get you packing here soon.
Scouting and all that fun stuff.
A lot of combines coming up, and but it's again, Alec. It was a good season overall. It just fell short of the goal, but hey, big steps from where we were, and good first season, and for yourself. Learning curves on many aspects.
Oh, absolutely.
And still a lot to learn.
Yes.
And that's part of being a young coach, when your first real gig into it, so to speak.
Absolutely.
So good job on that point. And, I'm talking to some of the players, probably a handful of guys that came up, yesterday, as and talked to them a little bit. They're pretty excited about coming back next year and building off of what we finished with. And, just getting that Rhino culture back to where it was. Sure. And that's the big part. We're going to have some additions next year, as in the coaching staff, which is great. Hopefully we get that announced in the next week or so.
Yeah, I'm super excited. So that's going to be huge.
Yeah, no, I'm really excited for it on many different levels. But it'll help, and the knowledge that's coming in is great too. So, but again, good season.
Thank you.
And we'll keep this rolling. Next week we'll be doing this. We'll have Joe back on, and then towards the end of the month, actually the beginning of April, is going to get a little dicey. I'll be on the road, but we are still going to do this.
Okay.
We're just going to be a little bit creative. I'll be in Nationals for the first one, and the second one I'll be in Spain, which will be really cool. Maybe up at the ski mountain, or because it's in a little ski resort type thing. It'll be really cool.
There you go. Make sure you get some cured meats, some charcuterie while you're there.
Huh?
Cured meats.
Cured meats.
Cured meats.
Yeah, I can do that.
Like charcuterie. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, Mr. Chef.
Just saying.
Welcome back to the show. We're here with special guest Katie, TheGiaCobra. Welcome to the show.
I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Kind of a unique meeting between both of us through a mutual friend, so to speak. And got us in contact, and then with the Culver connection between my daughter going there currently and you being alum.
The Culver connection is insane. There are so many random meetings where you'll either meet somebody who's going there currently or has been there. It's even been I've been on like a cruise ship in the middle of the ocean and run into people.
It's crazy. Like, when we went through our orientation, they talked about the Culver connection, and of course they're going to sell it, right? Like everybody does, they'll sell it. And then, the guide that we had that walked us around from dorms to different buildings, and she was a senior, and she was extremely sad because, she wished she could have another year and yada, yada, yada. And I'm just, me being my dad, me being a dad and like, sure, girl. Well, I can tell you right now, I feel those same feelings and thoughts as what she did, and so does my daughter. It's been an amazing journey, and I'm glad to have met you, and thanks for jumping on.
I'm excited. And as I said, it's always so funny to hear the different connections. And I mean, that's been one of the things in some of my comment sections on videos of people will pop up and be like, wait a minute, is that a Culver shirt? Wait, like, when did you go? Oh, I went this time. And it's just really funny.
That's awesome. So the listeners and viewers out there, for those that don't know Katie TheGiaCobra, she is new to hockey, and we'll get into that, but she is also a Star Wars creator, fanatic, guru, whatever you want to call it. And I think your content and your videos on TikTok, you're TikTok famous, and you're getting huge on Instagram too, and I think your content is absolutely hilarious. How you bring it to I'm new to hockey, and I what is an open net goal? What is wish we could see goalies play? The Kachuk brothers, stretching, all sorts of different things. Give us a little background on your journey and how you got to this point.
So I tell people it's not the happiest story of how I got into hockey, but it has a happy ending. Which is as seen by the bookshelves behind me, I'm a very big reader. And because of that, and being on social media and a content creator, I get offered advanced copies of books sometimes to read. And so an author reached out and wanted me to read her book, and it happened to be a hockey romance. And I was hesitant. And the reason I was hesitant is because I actually have diagnosed post-traumatic stress disorder from working in high-level athletics. So I decided, you know what, let's push myself. Let's see what happens. And I read the book and was perfectly fine. I didn't have any symptoms, didn't have any issues. So I said, okay, let me read another one, see if it was a fluke. And I was like, okay, the books are fine. What happens if I watch a game? And watched a couple games, absolutely fell in love with it. And thankfully, because hockey hadn't been anything I had interacted with during the period of time that caused the PTSD, it doesn't cause any symptoms. So it's allowed me to get back into sports and enjoying it again, because I grew up loving athletics and participating and watching and all of these different things. So now I'm able to enjoy it again. And the other fans have been so nice about like welcoming me in, and just, it's been great.
That's incredible. And that says a lot for, what you went through, and where you're at now, and sharing your journey and your story, because you're not just a creator for Star Wars or your videos, but I watched one of your posts or your videos back, I think it was in mid-June or mid-January, where you had someone on there, and we were talking about, or you were talking about Star Wars. It's not just for the men, it's for girls too. And it kind of, there was some fun made a little bit, but going back and forth, but it's more about your well-being and what you feel comfortable within your own skin.
Yes, definitely. And I mean, being able to find not just one thing I love and talk about it, but two now in hockey and Star Wars has been just so incredible. And the fact that people have liked the content enough for me to keep posting about it has just been shocking to me, honestly, because the first video I did was a complete one-off. I just was like, oh, this is funny. Maybe somebody else is new to this and will agree that this is a funny thing that hockey players do. Like, it's adorable, cool, great. And it took off. And immediately I got probably about 1,000 suggestions of other things to look into in the hockey world. And I, no joke, have a running list on my phone of things to keep checking and looking at. But the fan base for all these teams has just been so nice and welcoming, and just excited about the videos, which has made me excited to make them again.
Yeah, and it's a lot of it is very entertaining. You know, the Kachuk brothers. Okay, we all know them, and now we do know Grandma, and
Grandma Kachuk is my favorite person.
you know that poor thing when she said, well, she had to endure it. Like, and I know you know the history behind the family because the father was a player as well, and he was the same type of players as both brothers. A little bit more skilled in my opinion, but either way, same type of player. So she was obviously well accustomed to the Kachuk, I should say, the way they play and what they bring to it. You know what I mean? They're hilarious.
Oh, it was the second I heard about that because I'm not necessarily a fan of one specific team, but I started with the Panthers because my parents were actually season ticket holders when the Rats started in the 90s. They ended up giving up those season tickets because I was born and apparently children cost money. So they had to say goodbye to those. But I figured out, let me start with the Panthers. So I immediately started getting recommendations of, you've got to look at this game. And so that's how I found out about Grandma Kachuk. And then seeing her at that at the Blues Hall of Fame induction, it was hysterical. I was just loving every minute of it.
Just her sitting in the stands, like, you know, and her sitting there, and you almost see, I wouldn't say shame on her face, but you see her just sitting there like, what, these poor kids, my grandkids, what has my son been doing to these guys? We didn't raise them this way, yada, 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 but it's hilarious. But
the reaction of like, I came to this game to see my grandchildren.
Right. Hey, Grandma, you want to come and watch? We'll get you tickets. And then, boom, here we go. You know, I'm surprised the brothers didn't fight to top it off, you know, with the cherry on the cake. You know what I mean?
Have they ever fought?
I don't know. I don't think they have. But honestly, like, I wouldn't put it past them because, as you know, you've been in part of sports. And yes, there are barriers to a certain degree and there's unwritten rules. But those two guys, I don't think they apply to them. And for them to square off, I wouldn't be surprised because I just wouldn't be.
At this point, I just associate the two with I associate Brady with singing Mr. Brightside into the mic at a game because that happened recently and just it was the best karaoke sing along I've ever seen. And then I associate Matthew Kachuk with his mouth guard that he chews.
Yeah.
Just because it's so constant and I've had to make mouth guards before and I'm just looking at it like, oh my God.
And that's true. He just has it hanging out, chewing on it, you know,
all the time.
That's pretty funny. And then, you see some of your content with players stretching. What is this about? You see these guys down stretching and how did you get that video?
So the thing that cracks me up with that is a lot of people tend to post about it in a way of like, oh, it's very attractive, that kind of thing. I have a sports medicine background.
Especially with the music that you had for the first one.
Right. And so I actually got that from other pages that had directly posted it, but I have a sports medicine background and I am self-reportedly the most unflexible person on this planet. So I watch this and I'm just like, how are you physically doing this? I can't even touch my toes. And you've got goalies in full splits. Like, how? And I know it's years of training, years of conditioning, all of this stuff. And that there's a lot of hard work that goes into it, but just it baffles me. And I've even I think the first time I watched goalie stretches, I was like, I could do that. I was a softball catcher. That's manageable. Oh my God, I think I tore something.
Right.
Like all props to them for being able to do any of that.
And it is pretty funny, you know. You like I played all my life, played at a professional level, not the NHL, but a step below, and stretching is a part of it. And it becomes a routine and it becomes a superstition. And I'm sure you figured that out now. You watch the same player. He'll do the same things. He'll do the same stretches. And a lot of it is obviously that. But they're also checking the stands. I'm going to be honest with you. When they're down there stretching, they're checking out who's here. Is my family make it? Did my wife get it? Did mom and dad here? Aunt, Uncle Bob? They're checking it out. Getting a feel for it. And it's I'm not going to say it's part of a show, but it's part of the show. And it's pretty funny to watch those guys do it. And, you see Sidney Crosby out there doing the same thing with Malkin. And you just see all sorts of superstitions and warm up. And I think it's great. And the fact that you made some content on it and that brought some humor to it is absolutely hilarious.
I'm excited because I've heard all about how everybody grows out their facial hair during playoffs. and just that's a big thing. And I was like, okay, I guess we're doing a weekly facial hair ranking because this is something I am not prepared for it, because everybody's just warning me about this. They're like, oh, you're not going to recognize these players by the end of the season. And I'm like, okay.
Well, sort of now that you brought that up, we're talking about Minnesota high school hockey. You know, is there a shortage of bleach in the state of Minnesota? You know, that's hilarious.
I was not prepared for that. I had heard about it. People had said, oh, wait until this happens. It's coming up. It's coming up. And I started getting tagged in the first set of videos. And I was like, what is this?
It is funny. And that is a thing. It is a tradition. You know, obviously Minnesota high school hockey, they do that. And I'm going to ask you to touch on a little bit about the history of that and kind of how it became. But in all levels, in all sports, to my knowledge, that players do different things, whether it's bleach their hair, shave their head, grow out goatees, don't get haircuts, don't shave, whatever the case is, there's always something. And not all players participate in it, but the greater vast majority do. But going back to Minnesota high school hockey, tell us a little bit about that and how that came about.
So I didn't realize that. So I know that the hair has been going on for a long time. What I didn't realize is that in 2011, a man started doing videos of the highlights of it. And unfortunately, his name is escaping me. But the coolest thing about it is that all proceeds of the video go to hockey teams that help those with disabilities. So whether it be deaf hockey, blind hockey, sled hockey, they have one for wounded warriors, just all kinds of things. So it's really cool that he's made this very funny video that's become such a cultural thing and is doing so much good with it.
Right. And I believe it's the Henderson Foundation, right? I think it's Henderson. Yes. Yeah. I wrote notes down on it, and but what a great thing. You know, you see these kids come out and, you know, they see the one guy, he's the captain, he's got an afro, and it's it's just completely blonde. And then the toner. Like when you threw out, there's the lack of toner, I was literally peeing my pants. Sorry for the terminology, listening to what you were saying.
It was so funny because I saw one person's comment about that and I went, oh my God, that's it. That's what's wrong. Which I guess one team did purposely do it. So I'll give them that because the gold color matched their uniform. But the rest of them, I was like, I need the behind the scenes of this because we all know that it's just a bunch of high schoolers throwing bleach in their hair and hoping for the best.
It is absolutely funny. And that, you know, like what's crazy is, and when I played junior hockey, you know, you do it at the beginning of playoffs. So what we did is we give ourselves like the reverse mohawk. And yeah, it sounds great until you lose out in 3 games or 4 games. And then you're a week and a half later, what are you going to do with your hair? You know, that's the problem.
I have to assume that half of them have to shave their heads after, especially with all the bleach. I cannot imagine the state that their hair is in.
But it's absolutely hilarious. And the traditions that go on for playoffs and different things is I think it's so unique to sports, and it is so healthy. I really do. I think it is so healthy for individuals, for teams, for everybody to do that, because it just builds. You've been around sports, you know, as long as I have, and just the camaraderie that it does, and I think it's a great thing.
It is, and it's seeing the bonding between the players, the community. It's been really cool to see on a hockey level and in general. Like, I love seeing the different videos that people tag me in where it's like Make-A-Wish Foundation, or there's the man who is living in, I think, Sweden, and the Bruins have been in contact with him, and has a mental disability, but the Bruins have been so great about, you know, sending him a package and a video from I believe it was Lena Solmark, and just there's so much outreach to fans and the people who need it, and it's so great to see.
Yeah, no, it is. It brings so many people together, and of all different shapes and walks of the world, you know, and it's a wonderful community. It really is. Which kind of leads me to the next thing. Seattle Kraken, adopt Buoy. Yes. How's that going for you? I saw that you got a package, so you're on the right steps.
So yeah, that has been the wildest thing with all of this. Because I made a couple comments I made a video on Buoy. Because everybody had talked about Gritty, and that was one thing about hockey I knew was who Gritty was, just because of the insanity that comes from that being of a mascot. And people were like, well, you got to check out who's basically his little brother Buoy. And I was like, okay. Made a video about Buoy and was commenting on a couple of their posts, and Buoy would comment back like, okay, mom, or thanks, mom, and like stuff like that. And so I made the joke post of like, guys, I'm adopting a mascot. I have to, I guess, build a bunk bed, like all this stuff. And Buoy was like, okay, can I have Dorito casserole and Mountain Dew? I'm like, I have no idea what Dorito casserole is, but sure. Ended up making that. It's great, by the way. Never tried that. And yeah, they reached out and were like, hey, can we send you a package? And I was like, sure, I'm not saying no to that.
Right.
And yeah, the card has like all the different versions of saying mom and like you rock and all that sitting downstairs on a bookshelf. And they were so nice. They sent like a little stuffed Buoy. They sent an Everly bobblehead, which I even said in the video, I felt bad because I had no idea who he was. I now know.
Right.
But whenever he scores or does anything, I'm like, hey, it's the bobblehead. But yeah, they were so kind to send that, and I was just like, oh my god, this is insane. And yeah, still trying to adopt him. Hopefully I will get out to a Kraken game at some point in my life to meet him.
That's, and it is so funny when you were making the Gritty video, and then, the whole Buoy thing. Good. But Gritty everybody knows Gritty, and he's a piece of work in so much a positive way. Just what he does and how he does and interacts. And it's I think it's so funny. But what's very interesting, Katie, is that, our former vice president of our organization took a job this year with the Seattle Kraken. So she's now with the Kraken, and she does a lot of outreach programs for the team. And so I'm going to ask her if she knows about the Buoy adoption, see if we can get that pushed through for you. I think that'd be a good thing.
I have 2 cats, and I don't know how they're going to react to a mascot child, but I think we'll all acclimate.
Yeah, I think it's worth a shot anyway. You know what I mean?
I did see recently that Buoy was at the mascot Fuego's birthday party, and there was a whole WWE showdown with a Rude fan. I do support my future son in that.
Well, if once you do get the adoption papers and everything settled, maybe we can get you down here, and we can get him introduced to Spike, who is our rhino mascot. His name's Spike.
Oh, that'd be fun.
That would be something to talk about for sure.
I will say one thing, like, I know mascots are great throughout. I mean, I went to University of Miami. I love Sebastian the Ibis, like, fantastic mascot, but the hockey mascots are just something else. Like, it has been so funny to get into all of the lore and history behind them.
In I'm from Canada originally, and I'm from Calgary, with the Calgary Flames, and I'm sure maybe you haven't yet, but there's Harvey the Hound.
I have heard about Harvey.
Harvey's a good one too. That poor guy. He would get up on the glass and he would fall from 20 feet onto the ice, and I was like, man, that has to hurt. And like as a kid when I was growing up there, it's like I want to be Harvey. Just because he was so cool, and his outfit was cool, and he was funny, and he made it entertaining for the fans, and that's what it's about, to spread the brand and have fun for the kids. Because when we have our games here, when Spike's out and walking around, he has lines of kids, and kids are getting pictures, and he's dancing with them, and I think that is it is such a warm thing for any organization, whether it's hockey, baseball, because baseball's got some good ones. I think it's a lot of fun, and what you're doing with that is, I hope it works out for you. You got my vote.
It's been if you had asked me about what was on my 2024 bingo card, none of this was, but especially not that.
And the way you're going, who can tell where you're going to end up, because it's fun to watch your stuff.
I'm excited, and like I have now a plan for the off season even, which I mean, I have not been the person who has planned out content more than a week ahead, but there's just so much happening in this sport that some of the older things people ask me to talk about, and I'm like, well, I have to react to 3 new things that just happened over the weekend. So I already have plans in the off season of things that have happened that I want to talk about, or players and duos and all these different things, and I'm excited about it.
That's awesome. So, we talked a little bit about Star Wars before, about you being a big guru there. This weekend, you have something fun coming up.
Yeah, so I will be a creator or a featured influencer at Florida PolyCon. It's at Florida Polytechnic College, and I'm super excited. I'm going to be hosting galactic trivia, talking about Star Wars and asking questions and doing a little game show, and then I'll be walking the convention and doing the different activities. But yes, big Star Wars fan, hence the wall of Star Wars stuff
Right, yeah,
behind me. But
and how did you get started in that as a youngster being a fan, and then it just progressively grew?
As a kid, I did watch Star Wars. I actually rewatched episodes 2 and 3 on repeat on road trips, but for probably about 10, 12 years, I didn't watch any of it. And my mom, we live near enough to Disney that my mom was like, hey, when the COVID barriers lift and all these things, let's go see the Star Wars area at Disney. I was like, okay, well, I don't want to feel like I'm missing something. Let me watch Star Wars, and not just watch Star Wars. Let me watch all of it, because as the same with the hockey, once I get into something, I'm in it. I'm going to see everything. Watched all of it, fell in love with it over that year, and just have loved it since. It's definitely been something that I love to talk about, watch. I probably have more Star Wars toy ships than most children, but it's been great.
Is there a favorite Star Wars that you have? The movie?
Ooh, the movies, it's probably Revenge of the Sith or Attack of the Clones, but my all-time favorite Star Wars anything is the Clone Wars TV show. I absolutely love that.
That's awesome. That's good. See, kids, you're never too old to enjoy this, and I'm not saying you're old by any means, but it's
true. I mean, there's so much of we view so many things as for kids, and in
100%.
reality, it can be for anybody, and anybody can enjoy it at whatever age. And just because it might be for kids, even though some of the themes in Star Wars are definitely more adult, you can still enjoy it, you can still appreciate it, and you can still have fun with it.
And that's goes for a lot of your videos, especially the one that I talked about earlier in the podcast. That for those listeners out there, I don't know what it's titled, but it's in mid-January when you posted it. To me, it was really, really refreshing to hear that, and I think it's just awesome. When you talk about mental health and things like that, I think that's what it's about. Do whatever makes you happy. Whether it's Star Wars, hockey, football, baseball, reading, whatever it is, do what you want. And that's what's healthy. And I think that's a lot, the society's forgotten that, where social media has such a play on things where it's all negative. You see girls that are posting videos of themselves, or, their body shaming and all that stuff. But it shouldn't be about that. It should be about your inner self and your inner beauty, and do what you want and promote that. And I think that's what you do. And I think it is so healthy what you're doing.
And I do think there is also, there is definitely negativity online. And it's why I personally don't post a ton about Star Wars at the moment. But I do think there's also that there is a lot of positivity out there, because I don't think I would have embraced Star Wars as much if I didn't see, there was a creator who did a whole series about healing their inner child and talking about their inner child. And to do that, they were going and doing things that they might have done as a kid. So whether that be like those or whatever it was. And I went, wait a minute, I can do that. I'm an adult. I have an adult banking account. Like, I can go purchase this thing that I think is cool. And that's okay. It brings me joy. It brings my inner child joy. And that's what matters. And like, I think I told you when we chatted earlier, I have more Star Wars lightsabers than I will ever admit. But those make me happy. And it's something that as a kid, I didn't necessarily have or get the chance to enjoy, because I wasn't really into this as a kid. And so now as an adult, I'm still getting to enjoy it.
Yeah, that's what it's about, and it's extremely healthy, as I mentioned before, and just people just need to live their lives how they want to live it and forget about what the outside noise.
Exactly.
I truly, truly believe that. And, when we started this podcast, we've been wanting to do it for several years, and it was always like, yeah, we'll do it. Well, it got to the point where we're going to do it. And, talking about your forecast, you didn't know what was on the table or the agenda for 2024 or where it's going to end. And, you know, you were talking about that. Well, when we started this, we had a plan where it's going to be about, we'll interview our coaches. And I'm the team president, by the way. And I've done some radio a little bit before, and I've talked a little bit about, and so we didn't really have a host. I'm like, well, I'll host. You know, I can talk, you know, and try to entertain. But we interviewed coaches, and then we had a guest on, and it just kind of evolved to not necessarily hockey. Yes, we have a hockey segment with our coaches, but you know, we have a guest like yourself. We talk about hockey related things, but we talk about all sorts of things. And I think that's what's so unique about the internet is the sky's the limit, and you shouldn't set boundaries on it regardless of what it is. As long as you're bringing happiness and people like your content and you're not focused on negativity, I think that is what is important. And the stuff that you bring to the table, just your view on things in the hockey thing, it's funny, you know, because I was born, you know, coming out of my mom with skates on, so to speak, being from Canada, playing and knowing everything about it, and watching your humor and what you bring into it, it's awesome. It really is.
Thank you. And that's been kind of the running thing with it is people are like, well, how did you not get into hockey like before? And your parents were season ticket holders. You know, I went to Culver, which is a major hockey school, and I was a Floridian. I was like, why would I ever want to ice skate? Why would I ever care about this? And I mean, I make the joke, and I've talked about it on my page of I did actually go to the state championships with my high school hockey team, but it was because they told us that they would take us to the mall and buy us dinner, not because there was a hockey game.
Right.
So I was like, everybody now is like, what do you mean you're just getting into this? And it's like, I never had any reason to be involved until recently. And it's been a lot of fun. I am nervous though, because I have made the promise that if I ever hit 100,000 followers on TikTok, and I think I said 20,000 on Instagram, I'll go ice skating again. I am worried for my safety and others.
I'm gonna say you're almost there. So
it's getting there quicker than I thought. I thought I would have time to like think of an excuse, but
well, you need, so hence my haircut, right? So this is growing back. So I'm not a social media guru. I don't know, like I have the account, the producers help me run it and yada, yada, yada. And I don't even know how to click go. So I'm learning. So one of our first podcasts, we had this contest, and we're like, if we can get, it was something, you're going to laugh at this when I tell you. If we get something like 350 likes and 50 new followers, me and another coach were going to shave our heads. And I thought that was a big feat, right? Like these numbers, we're never going to do it. I don't think it took 3 hours. And after I agreed to this, the producers, who are young, hip dudes, they're just laughing in the background. I'm like, you guys set us up. But it's okay. You know, I signed the contract to do it, but payback is a mother, and I'm going to get it.
It can be. I was like, all right, so how much bubble wrap am I legally allowed to wrap myself in to go ice skating? Because there's one thing I am not good at, it is skates. I am not good at staying upright on skates.
Well, you know, when you get there, which is going to be very soon, Katie, I can't wait to see that because it'll be hilarious. And I'll make sure that I leave a nice comment for you.
That's, yeah, I'm sure my mother will be the one recording, and I'm sure you are just going to hear her like cackling in the background through the whole thing. Because she grew up north. She's been ice skating. She knows all about it. She's rollerbladed her whole life. So for me to be as bad as I am on skates is just hysterical to her.
Well, that's going to be something to look forward to. That is absolutely for sure. Well, Katie, I appreciate your time and thank you for jumping on and sharing some of your knowledge and little history behind you. And we look forward to seeing more of your content and the journey that you've started and just the future that you have. And I can't thank you enough. And for those listeners out there, please check and tune into her on YouTube and Spot or all the good stuff, Instagram, TikTok. It's a lot of fun. And again, Katie, I can't thank you enough for jumping on today.
And thank you again for having me on.
And have a good weekend and enjoy the Star Wars. And we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks.
Thank you for watching this week's episode. I hope you enjoyed the show. Please remember to like and follow. And remember, take care, comb your hair, and keep the stick on the ice.